Jai Shri Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Bhagavad Gita in English, Chapter 1, Text 28. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me as such as a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport: any man who has the genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in goodly persons or in the demigods. Where is the non-devout, however advanced he may be material? Qualification by education and culture lacks in godly qualities as such. Arjuna, just after seeing his Christian's friends and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight among themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldier of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of this body began to quiver, and his mouth became dry. He was a more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically the whole community and whole bloods relatives of Arjuna had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devote like Arjuna, although it is not the man's sense. Here still one can easily imagine that on not only were Arjuna's body limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of the compassion. Such as symptoms in the Arjuna were not due to weakness, but his the soft heartedness and the characteristics of the pure devote of all Lord it. One who has the unflinching devotion. The personality of Godhead was all the God qualities of demigods, but one who is not the devote of the Lord has only material qualifications that are the little value. This is because he is wearing the mental plan and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. My whole is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my how Gandharv is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. But there are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standing of the hair and end. Such are the phenomena if either the great spiritual ecstasy or great fear under material condition. There is no fear transition realization. Arjun's symptoms in this situation are not a material fear, namely laws of life. This is evident for other symptoms also has become so impatient that his famous bow Gandhi was slipping from his head, and because his heart was burning within him, he was a feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to material conception of file. I am not now able to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the KC demon. Purport: due to the impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield and he was forgetting himself on account of the weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence. Bhayam divatya vestamasyatta. Such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material condition. Arjuna envisioned only painful reverse. In the battlefield, he would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. The words Nimitani, Vipratani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectation, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self-interest by Krishna. Well, one's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned souls forget this and therefore suffers material pain. Arjuna thought that his victory in battle would only be a cause of lamentations for him. I don't not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom of happiness. Purport: without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu, Conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relationship, hoping to be happy in such a situation, in such a bland conception of life. They forget even the causes of material happiness. Arjuna appears to have even forgotten the moral course of Kshatriya. It is said that two kinds of man, namely of the Kshatriya who dies directly in front of the battlefield under Krishna personal orders, and the person in the announced order of life who is absolutely devoid the spiritual culture, are eligible to enter into a sun globe, which is the so powerful and dazzling. Arjun is a reluctant even to kill his enemies, let alone his relatives. He thinks that by killing his kinsman, there would be no happiness in his life, and therefore he is not willing to fight. Just a person who does not feel hunger is not inclined to cook. He has now decided to go into the forest and live a squalid life of frustration. But as the Kshatriya, he requires a kingdom for this substance, because the Kshatriya cannot engage themselves in any other occupation, but Arjuna has no kingdom. Arjuna's sole opportunity for gaining a kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers and claiming the kingdom inherited from his father, which he does not like to do. Therefore, he considered himself fit to go to the forest to live secluded life of frustration. O Govinda, whatever to us our kingdom, happiness or even life itself, and all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on his battlefield. O Madhusoodan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfather, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me, O maintainer of living entities? I am not prepared to fight with them even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of the thrashed? Purport: Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as a Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicate that Krishna should be understand what will satisfying Arjuna's sense, but Govinda is not meant of satisfying was our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our all own senses are satisfied materially. Everyone wants to satisfy his senses and his wants God to be the other supplier of for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to the extent that they may call it. But when who takes the opposite way, namely when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's senses, then by the grace of Govinda all desire, all living entity satisfied. Arjuna deep affection of community and family members in the exhibited that partially due to natural compassion for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to their friends, our relatives, but Arjuna feared that all relatives and friends will come to the battlefield and we will unable share his opulence outward after victory. The typical calculation material life, the transcendental life, however, different since a devotee wants to satisfy the desire of Lord. He can Lord whiling accept all kinds opulence for the service of Lord. The Lord is not whiling, he should not accept the thing. Arjuna did not to kill relatives, and it were any need to kill them. He desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this the point he did not know that Krishna had already killed them before their coming into the battlefield, and that he was only to the become an instrument of Krishna. This fact are disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of Lord, Arjuna did not like a related against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should be all be killed. The devout for the Lord does not relatable against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done by the devout by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person his own account, but the excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. Sin will overcome us if we say slay such aggressors. Therefore, is not proper for us kill the sun, the grass. Our friends for the should be game. O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsman? Sin will purple. According to Vedic injunctions, there are the six kinds of aggressors: a poison giver, one who set fire to the house, one who attacked with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another lands, and one who kidnaps wife. Such aggressors are the at once be killed and no sin incurred by killing. Such a killing aggressors is a quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was a saintly character, and therefore he wanted to deal with the saint, saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not the Kshatriya, although a responsible man as the administration state required to be the saintly, he should be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now anxious to life in the kingdom of Lord Rama. But Lord Rama never saw any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife Sita, but Lord Rama gave the sufficient lessons unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna case, however, should consider a special type of aggressor, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, and against etc. Because them Arjuna thought that they should not take the several steps necessary against ordinary aggressor. Beside that, saintly persons are advised to forgive such injections for saintly person are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen. For political reason, it will be better to forgive them on grounds religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdom and pleasure derived, therefore, are not permanent, so why should they risk life in eternal salvation by killing his own kinsman? Arjuna dressing for Krishna as a Madhava, husband of the goddess of fortune, is also significant in the connection. He wanted to point out of Krishna that as the husband of goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. O Janardhana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family quarreling with friends. Why should we who can see the crime in destroying a family engage in the acts of sin? A Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle of or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse the fight because he had been challenged by party of the Duryodhana and was a connection. Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the facts of such challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligations is actually binding when the effect is good, but when its effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. With the destruction of the density, the eternal family tradition is a vanished, and thus the rest of family becomes involved in irreligion. In the system of Varnashram institution, there are many principles of religion tradition to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such a purifying process in the family, beginning from birth to the death. But one death of the elder members, such as family tradition of purification, may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop religious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, no purpose should the elder members of the families be slain. When his religion is the prominent in family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood descent to the where she comes wanted progeny. Purport God population in human society, the basic principle for peace, prosperity, spiritual progress in life. Banshram Religion's principles were so designed that the good population would the prevail society for the general spiritual progress in the state or community. Such a progression depend on the chastity, faithfulness, in the womanhood. And as a children very prone, it misled. Women are similarly very prone to degradation. And therefore, both children are and women require protection by the elder members of their family. By being engaged in the various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery according to Kanakya Pandita. Women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not truthworthy. So the different family tradition of religious activities should always engage them. Thus the chastity devotion will give birth to good. Population eligible for participating the Banshram are system of the failure of such a Banashram dharma. Naturally women become free act to mix them with men and thus adultery indulge in it at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war as a pestilence. An increased unwanted population certainly causes hellish life for the family and those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors such a corrupt family roll down because the performance for offering them God and water are entirely stopped. But according to the rules and regulation of the protective activities, there is a need of a periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered by Vishnu can deliver from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reaction, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire gross material body and can force remain in subtle bodies or ghost. Thus when the man's Prashadaman food are the offered forefathers by descendant and forefathers are released from ghostly or other kind miserable life, such as the help order to forefathers is the family tradition, and those who in the devotional life are required to perform such a ritual. One who they engage devotional in the devotional life is not required to perform such action. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver 100 and 1,000 for fathers from all kinds misery, which is stated in the Bhagavatam. जय श्री कृष्णा, राधे राधे। आगे का अध्याय हम नेक्स्ट डे कंटिन्यू करेंगे। डेक्लॉन, हाय, हेलो, कैसे हो? जय श्री कृष्णा, राधे राधे, हाउ आर यू? डेक्लॉन 2597।